Good morning.
Good morning, Father.
Good morning. I want to take time this morning to turn our attention to the emblem that is on front of the altar. Something new for this season of Lent. It's on our vestments this morning. It's a logo that is very important for the church. However, it's probably not one of my most favorite looking emblems that the church has done. I think we've talked in our office and wondered who's designing these things for Pope Francis. And we all decided that 1995 called and they want their logo back. But it is an important logo for us to take a look at, especially as we enter into the season of Lent, and especially today as we kick off this period of preparation, final preparation for those who are in the RCIA program, OCIA program. I'm always going to call it RCIA because of just my time as a priest and seminarian. So for those who are in their preparation today, they are being presented before the bishop. Those who are catechumens, those who are preparing to be baptized. So I want to go back to this image real quick. This image, as you see, and you'll notice as you come forward for communion and the like, there are four stylized figures. And those four stylized figures represent all of humanity coming from the four corners of the earth. The figures are embracing each other to indicate solidarity, to indicate fraternity that should be shared among all of God's people. It's a reminder that we are not alone on this journey. Those who are here present with us in the OCIA, who are candidates and catechumens, realize that they are not on this journey alone. They are gathered here with all of us this morning. And they are also walking this journey with a sponsor and a godparent. We are all united together as one. The figure at the very front, the figure who is colored in red, is embracing a cross. And that cross is not just a sign of faith, which that lead figure embraces, but it is also to remind us of the virtue of hope, because this Jubilee year that we are entering into, this logo in which why we wear it and that we are promoting it is because we are in the Jubilee year of hope. A hope that cannot be abandoned because we are always in need of hope, especially in those moments of our greatest need. There are rough waves, if you look underneath the figures, symbolizing the fact that the pilgrimage of this life does not always go smoothly. We're not always traveling in calm waters. I don't have to tell you that. Often the circumstances of our daily lives and the events of the wider world call us to hold on to hope. And that's why we are invited to pay special attention to the lower part of that cross that is on the logo for this year of hope. This cross has been elongated and turned into the shape of an anchor as it is being let down into those rough waves of our lives. The anchor has always been known as a symbol of hope in Christian faith. In maritime language, the anchor of hope refers to that anchor that is used by vessels in emergency situations to help stabilize their ships in the midst of a storm. It's also worth noting that as you look at this image of and logo for this year of hope, that we're taking this together as a community, marked by an increasing vitality leading one another closer to the cross. And this cross is something that is not static, but it is a cross that is dynamic. It is reaching out towards humanity, not leaving humanity alone, but stretching out to all of us, offering the certainty of the presence of Jesus Christ in our life, He who is the source of our hope in the world. And so this first Sunday of Lent and this Jubilee year of hope reminds us that we are entering in then to a time of reconciliation, a time of forgiveness, a time of mercy, a time of pilgrimage together, because we're reminded that we're not alone, but also reminded of hope. It's a time of solidarity, it's a time of justice, but also a time of conversion. Pope Francis has invited the people of the world to journey together in hope during the season of Lent. And he also asks us one question, a question that even comes from his hospital room in Rome: whether or not we are willing to change our lives. Lent is an opportunity for us to consider whether or not we are willing to make a change in our lives. It is a question that has been brought to those who are in OCIA for themselves. Am I willing to change my life? What is God calling me to do in changing my life for the sake of salvation, for the sake of building up the kingdom of the kingdom of heaven here and now? I want to go back to Pope Francis' letter as he was calling this year, this Jubilee year of hope. He says, in the last few years, not a single country has been left unaffected by the sudden outbreak of an epidemic that made us experience firsthand not only the tragedy of dying alone, but also the uncertainty and the fleeting existence of our humanity. And in doing so, has changed our lives forever. Together with all of our brothers and sisters, we Christians endure those hardships and limitations. We experience the closure of our churches, our schools, factories and shops, and our venues where we recreate. All of us saw certain freedoms curtailed while the pandemic generated feelings not only of grief, but at times feelings of doubt and fear and disorientation. Those feelings that can only be countered by the virtue of hope. We must then fan the flame of hope that has been given us to help everyone to gain new strength and certainty by looking to a future with one spirit, an open spirit, trusting the heart of Jesus and being farsighted in our vision. And so, my dear friends, we are invited to look forward to what God is inviting us in this season of Lent to do, especially for those who are in their final stages of preparation for receiving the sacraments at Easter. And we might ask ourselves, why the need for conversion? Why the question whether or not we're willing to change our lives? Well, I don't think it's hard for us to see on the nightly news the wonders, realities, and the tragedies that we are capable of as the human race. The virtue of hope changes our direction 180 degrees and turns us to become more gracious. Gratitude is the spiritual sacrifice that we make in our lives when it comes to the season of Lent. A spiritual sacrifice, a sacrifice of our egoism, a sacrifice of our pride, of our self-sufficiency and autonomy. Lent is an invitation to submit ourselves to the one true God, which is the very essence of who we are as Christians. And gratitude is the source and foundation for our worship. That if we are able to recognize all that is good in the universe, all that is good in our lives is that which comes from God, then we are beginning to live that Sermon on the Mount that the Lord calls us to. This is what it means to be poor in spirit, to recognize that every gift that we have is a gift that is given to us by God, believing that Jesus is who he says that he is and he's going to do exactly what he says that he's going to do. And that is founded on the virtue of hope. And so may this Lenten journey of 2025 be for all of us a restoration of hope through reconciliation, through the experience of mercy, through forgiveness of others, through pilgrimage, and through experience the great journey up that mountain, which is leading these, my brothers and sisters, to Easter joy in a way that they have never experienced it before. May we embrace this virtue of hope and allow the Lord to open our hearts to experience the great gift of knowing that he is who he says that he is, and that he's going to do exactly what he says that he's going to do.